heard so many times. Speak easy from Eddie Hernandez.
Being a luchador, being from Mexico, it means I have a family behind me. Everyone who came before me, everyone who will come after me, I am part of something, and I am proud of that. But I will not allow a man who does not recognize that. We are a part of something special, and Jackel chooses to ignore all that so he can satisfy his own ego. I have been working a long time to be able to perform on this level, and now that I know I can, I want to prove to everyone who is not familiar with the lucha tradition that Jackel is not part of us or what we do. He is a cheap imitation of a luchador. Like a man in a movie, he is two-dimensional. He is not a real person. So now I'm going to prove it. I want Jackel to come out here right now. I want to look him in the eyes and beat him in this ring to prove that he is a fraud. He always has been, and he always will be. Well, ask and you shall receive. Jackel possibly, maybe coming. Where is he? This is Jackel's music, the man who unmasked La Tortuga Roja, and yet no sign of the man himself. Hang on, wait a second. From behind, Ramon Gutierrez. Thrust kick to the back from the evil Jackel. And Ramon Gutierrez, unfortunately, didn't see the depravity that exists in the soul of Jackel. And now, Jackel has Ramon Gutierrez with no warning. Rolling storm from Jackel. What a disgusting act from a disgusting human being. Ramon Gutierrez asked for a match and he stumbled back in to the corner. Jackel telling the referee, ring that bell, I want a match. Ramon Gutierrez can barely stand, but Jackel wants himself a match. Ramon Gutierrez didn't know what he was signing up for, and now Jackel has showed him the hard way. Gutierrez on the wrong side of a rolling storm already. And now Jackel just going to go to work against the young luchador. Ramon Gutierrez comes in, by the way, with actually a really solid record. I mean, if there was anyone who was going to be able to challenge Jackel, I was hoping that this was going to be the guy. 5-1 is Ramon Gutierrez, in such an appreciation of the Mexican wrestling tradition. So I'm glad it's him, but unfortunately he didn't realize the deep waters that he was wading into when he decided to make this challenge. You gotta have your head on a swivel when it comes to challenging Jackel. Folks, right now you can check out the website, generaladmissionwrestling.com. You can join the Discord. I'm sure there will be lots of conversation about Ramon Gutierrez trying to step up and challenge Jackel. You can see full title histories of all of our championships dating back to 2005, and you can read full recaps of all of our shows as they happen, so you never have to miss a minute. And that is something that's very important, because as Northern Lights approaches in just a couple weeks, you are going to want to make sure that you are caught up on all the happenings in GAW. So I got to credit to Ramon Gutierrez. He is fighting. He is doing what he can right now, but unfortunately there's only so much you can do when Jackel's done what he has done. And now from behind, Jackel with a modified backdrop and a bridge. Ramon Gutierrez able to kick out before too, so that's a big moment for Ramon possibly in this match. May not last for much longer. Jackel with a rolling soul butt, and Jackel with a face wrecker. Already hit the rolling storm earlier on, and now Jackel with a face wrecker, leg hooked. And there really wasn't much doubt, was there? Jackel came in and attacked Ramon Gutierrez before this match even began. And this is exactly the outcome that I expected. It's unfortunate, but this is what I expected. And Ramon Gutierrez, I hope that he'll get a fair shot against Jackel, because he deserves one, and someone needs to put Jackel in his place. But Jackel was warned that someone wanted to challenge him. We talked about that last week. And now Jackel was prepared for this one. Did I need some help from Lazara? Probably. I know I can be one of the best wrestlers in the world, but I also know I need a little time to learn the style here. But what I couldn't take was all the constant patronizing. Every 5 seconds, Lazara says something I already know, as if it's some kind of huge revelation. Honey, you are not God's gift to wrestling. You're a washed-up has-been who pissed away her chance at being memorable. You're the past, and the future is sweet. I'm about to put the boot to this dude. This is why I was never worried about getting into this series. I knew there was no chance he'd win. I knew that I'm the better wrestler. I still know I'm the better wrestler. I just know my own skill set and what I'm about. So next week, I'm going to finish this. And then I'm going to focus on what I do best. And that's be in the prime time. Fight for titles, make that money, inspire kids all over the world. That's fighting in the prime time, baby. And prime time is here. Fuck this series, man. Well, between Sophia's sweetness and Derrick Cole, I think there's a lot of confidence to go around, but the funny thing is it's all a matter of how you use it. So Sophia's sweetness has apparently convinced herself that Lazara was trying to help Sophia for Lazara's benefit. I don't really see how there's logic in that, but I guess you can't really expect to hear a lot of logic from someone like Sophia Sweetness. But Derrick Cole, you can just see the confidence dripping off that man. He will face Ulysses Sky next week in the 4th match of their series, and Ulysses Sky wants nothing to do with that one, clearly, and you can see why with how confident Derrick Cole is in that result. This will be Eddie Hernandez's first match in GAW since, I believe, it's his first match on Stormchaser since Stormchaser Sydney. At least his first singles match since then. So Eddie Hernandez has not been as active in the ring as we would have expected, but these were the scenes from last week when Eddie Hernandez, he brought in Lars Nightfall during the Stormchaser tournament, and Lars Nightfall finally attacked Yunsan Park and attacked Eddie Hernandez. It was a crazy moment, and Hernandez is back for the first time since then. And he will be facing the massive Overload, who, even though his record does not suggest that he is much of a threat, obviously a man of this size with this much strength is always a threat, no matter who they are. And that continues to be the case for Overload with a running power slam. So Eddie Hernandez had his issues with Lars Nightfall, and really the first sign of tension between them at all. But Nightfall had taken it too far against Yunsan Park and then put his hands on Eddie Hernandez. So that has put Chopper back into this situation. Springboard Bulldog, wow. Apparently Hernandez is back with a vengeance after that. If you're in the Discord, we got a special Chopper emoji. One of the faces of the GAW Academy, one of the reasons that the Academy has gone weekly, that Stormchaser comes to us every week. Eddie Hernandez is one of the major reasons why. Overload rolls him over into a cover. Hernandez, easy kick out there from Eddie. This is a match that I think Hernandez needed, given the issues with Lars Nightfall, given the fact that you know that he was ready to get into this situation in a street cutter on Overload. You can see Eddie Hernandez, his strength has always been such a big part of his game, and now up top he goes. Eddie Hernandez from the top rope. Hernandez was looking for the speakeasy, but Overload, I mean, the speakeasy is one of the most famous moves in the GAW Academy, so Overload was ready for it, and Hernandez, look at the quickness, ducks underneath the huge right hand of the former world's strongest man. This match has been all Eddie Hernandez, who tends to excel against men of this size. Overload, Tonga, just to name a couple, Eddie Hernandez tends to be fantastic against giants like this. Overload got the knees up as Hernandez flew into the corner, but Hernandez comes back with a quickness and immediately takes Overload down to a knee with a quick shot. Overload answers with a right hand lariat. One wonders what the future relationship will be between Eddie Hernandez and Lars Nightfall. Given the fallout, I mean, I have not from my sources heard any talk of any conversation that happened between them. I don't know what the deal might be between Hernandez and Overload, and now Overload absolutely destroys Eddie Hernandez. He calls it "How's Your Back?" Not really the most creative name that I've ever heard, but Overload now with a jackknife style powerbomb into the cover, and Eddie Hernandez kicked out and won. You're gonna have to do more than that to take out Eddie Hernandez, one of the toughest men in wrestling right now. And now Hernandez caught Overload coming in, and Hernandez with a side sit out Uranagi. Hernandez transitions into the cover, and look at that. Overload, he got too confident. He thought he could do too much right there, and Eddie Hernandez made him pay with the side Uranagi. Hernandez really was not troubled at all in this match. The big spine buster from Overload, potentially, but really, here's another look at that. He calls it "How's Your Back?" I'm not going to condone the name here, but Hernandez was not troubled at all. Here was the big power bomb, couldn't even get a 2 count from Overload, and Eddie Hernandez proves that he still has it. But next week, Lars Nightfall gonna have to prove the same. He will be taking on Lance Woods in Nightfall's first match since attacking Yunsan Park and Eddie Hernandez. And look at this, as we go backstage, Eddie Hernandez has walked back, and look who he's found. Lars Nightfall is there. You can cut the tension with a knife between Eddie Hernandez and Lars Nightfall, but thankfully it looks like there will be no other interactions between these two today. I can't tell you what the future may bring between Eddie Hernandez and Lars Nightfall, but we might find out next week. Good to see Chandler Marcy back in the ring. One of our top young prospects that is developing in the GAW system right now, a product of Second City Wrestling as well. If you want to listen to this entrance theme or any of the entrance themes between the Academy and Friday Night Storm, then just check out our Spotify playlist. Link is in the description or on the website at generaladmissionwrestling.com. So you can hear the themes for this, themes for our special events, and some special goodies in there as well. So don't miss it. It's one of my favorite playlists right now on my phone. I listen to it almost daily. But Chandler Marcy, he has shown that not only is he a dangerous wrestler because of his strength, but He is dangerous because of his commitment to getting better. It certainly seems like every match Chandler Marcy is in, he has gotten better. And even though this will only be his 4th singles match in GAW, he has fought a pretty difficult schedule, and each time he has looked more and more confident and more dangerous every match. So now going up against a former Academy champion, there's no doubt that this is one of Marcy's biggest opportunities in GAW. For those of you that have been with us since the Stormchaser tournament began, it's almost a year ago now that started, and that is an unbelievable thought. But for those of you that have been with us that long, you remember that Scott Danielson was the Academy champion at that time. Scott Danielson began the Stormchaser tournament as Academy champion, lost it to Garrett Gibson, but Danielson has yet to reach the heights that he had achieved coming into the Stormchaser tournament. And I think a big reason for that is probably because of the depth of talent that has come in, and Danielson just wasn't prepared for the level of talent that we are now seeing in the GAW Academy. I cannot overstate how good the wrestlers are in the Academy right now. It's not a level of depth that we've ever seen. So Scott Danielson, I think, was not prepared for what he was going to see coming into the Stormchaser tournament. And we are really blessed to have some of the talent that we have in GAW. So Scott Danielson, he's got an uphill battle to fight. Chandler Marcy is one of those men who has come in and proven how good he is, but Scott Danielson immediately with a big sit-out powerbomb. Chandler Marcy kicks out, but Marcy is just another example of one of the young rookies who is trying to work his way up. And in the former incarnations of the GAW Academy, Marcy would already have been a top guy. It just goes to show you how vastly the level has improved in the Academy. Not to say Scott Danielson hasn't improved with it, but I think he wasn't ready for the difficulty in opponent that he was going to have to face now. Yanks the arm back of Chandler Marcy. Scott Danielson is trying to get back to the level that he was at the beginning of the Stormchaser tournament. Beating Chandler Marcy would be a good way to do it, because it really shows that Danielson is willing to take his matches seriously, even against younger competitors like Marcy. Danielson with a 3-9 record in GAW, but a lot of that has been in Atlanta over on GAW Dark. Danielson with a big power slam. So Danielson has kind of been trying to find himself. He's been teaming with Stefford Drummond as well, but now Danielson, look at this. Danielson deadlifts Chandler Marcy. That is the real man's military press. Marcy hits the deck hard, the former football player, former Texas Longhorn, and now Scott Danielson into a knee bar, using his own chest to put pressure on the ankle of Chandler Marcy, but Marcy has a strong enough core to be able to roll that over, escape the submission for now, but Marcy now caught Danielson coming in and hits him with a dragon suplex. Marcy's got some of that quickness as well. Former standout linebacker at the University of Texas. We've talked about Marcy's story before, and doubtless we'll talk about it again. But all you need to know right now is this man is an incredibly talented athlete, and Scott Danielson making the most of it. Beautiful takedown from Danielson into the cover. Marcy kicks out. Danielson, sometimes known as the king of old school. That's how he fights his matches, and now gets Chandler Marcy up. Danielson with a Blade Runner. Look at the height that Chandler Marcy comes crashing down from. Danielson leg hooked, and Scott Danielson does get the win on his return to Stormchaser. It's a big one against a very talented rookie in Chandler Marcy. Marcy made it hard on him, but Scott Danielson, you always wonder, for a guy like Danielson with former championship success, when is he going to get back to that level? When is he going to start fighting at that level again? And the answer may be very soon for Scott Danielson. I could definitely see that being the case. Here's another look at the Blade Runner from Danielson. Tremendous look and a tremendously dangerous move from Scott Danielson. You are a former Academy champion, the first Academy champion anyone knew about. You were the champion when I got in, at least for a day or two you were. But now you're just some joke who can't lace the champ's boots. You know the deal, Scott. I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to shape up, or I'm gonna put you down like I did to Shia and Gibby. You've been warned. I've taken some time to collect my words. I've never been one to be speechless. When I was champion, I had guys saying they were coming for my title. My own brother threatened me. But I hadn't thought of what would happen if I let my guard down during a match. It's a cliche to say it won't happen again, so I will say this. Flyboy has taken something from me. Something that was so valuable, so important to me that I will not rest until I get it back. I don't care who I have to run through to get it. I will be champion again. Kurt Andrews will get the chance to put his money where his mouth is when he goes one-on-one with Andrew Wesley, half of the Wing Collectors, still waiting on their tag team title shots. But in the meantime, Wesley will get to take on the former Academy champion. That will be the first match of our show next Monday on Stormchaser. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.
First off, you don't run nothing. All talking, no team bluffing. My squad, we all dream crushing. We ain't rushing, no discussion. All I know is I was made for this. Paid for this, yeah, slave for this. Been down and I'ma get it right. Get on sight like
Xavier Cross, another product of Second City Wrestling. And he has had more ring time in GAW than Chandler Marcy. But much like Marcy, you could say that Cross has shown some improvement in his matches in GAW. He is definitely not used to this level of talent on a week-to-week basis, but he is certainly using it to improve, and that improvement has landed him several opportunities here on Stormchaser. This is not the first for Xavier Cross. He fought Max Ultimate on Stormchaser, beat Mexican Shia on Stormchaser as well. So this is just another opportunity for Cross, now the biggest one of his GAW career so far in the main event and against a man that everyone is excited to see. Oliver Parker returns to the ring for the first time in what feels like years since Oliver Parker has been in a GAW ring. In reality, the last time we saw him was against Kurt Andrews when he fought Andrews for the Academy title all the way back at Bash at the Beach. Lee Carr came in, attacked Parker after that match, or actually I should say during that match is when Lee Carr got his hands on Oliver Parker, cost him the Academy title against Kurt Andrews, and this is now the first time that we're seeing Parker back. If you want to talk all about Parker's return, head on over to all of our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, General Admission Wrestling. It's all linked down in the description as well. You can bet that people will be talking about this moment as Oliver Parker makes his way back to GAW. He warned Lee Carr last week about what will happen if Parker gets his hands on Lee Carr again, and I am told that no one has seen Carr around the facility tonight. So maybe Oliver Parker got into Lee Carr's head a little bit. I don't want to speculate, but I think it might be possible. Before we get any further in this match, let's go backstage into the office with Jason Parker. We have just 3 weeks to go until Northern Lights. Every match matters. So let's hear our main event for next week's Stormchaser. What kind of commissioner would I be if I didn't let Valeska Pierce go at the woman who cost her a match? Whether she'll get a rematch against Catherine, I can't say yet, but I know for sure that she deserves one against Kristen. So next week, in a main event, it'll be Valeska Pierce versus Kristen Sakamoto, no DQ. That is a deserved match, in my opinion, for Valeska Pierce, getting her hands on the woman who cost her an opportunity to become Academy champion. I hope that Valeska gets a rematch against Catherine. She deserves it, but at the very least, she deserves her chance at Kristen Sakamoto. And that'll be a great match as well. No DQ, meaning that it's possible that Catherine could get her hands involved in that match as well. We'll have to see. That's in our main event next week, so thank you, Jason, for letting us know. Oliver Parker, you may not remember how talented this guy is. We haven't seen him for months, but he is one of the best in-ring talents in GAW. And look at that, moonsault, he rolled all the way through. Xavier Cross didn't even see it coming, and Oliver Parker drives him with a Uranagi. You would be forgiven for not remembering how good Oliver Parker is, but he is one of the best. Look at this, suplex transitions, armbar in for Oliver Parker. Xavier Cross tried to roll his way out, but Parker caught him into the grounded hammerlock, and now Parker transitions his focus to the other arm. Xavier Cross is a great submission wrestler with that Kronwall Hawk Slayer, but Oliver Parker was just one step ahead of him there. Parker went in for the takedown, and Xavier Cross took him down in response. Well done from Cross. I think his only chance right now is to neutralize Parker's attacks at the midsection. You can't get in close with Oliver Parker. You have to keep him at a distance. It's difficult to do because Parker is long and lanky with very long arms, but that's what you have to do to keep him away from your rib cage, from your back. That's where he loves to focus so much of his attack. Xavier Cross does know how to do that. Cross is a great striker, but unfortunately for him, his background is more in dirty boxing than anything else, so he needs to be in close to do damage. Parker tries to come in, and Cross wards him off. Well done. Now Cross got him with a cutter. Cross transitions, Kronwall Hawk Slayer, but Oliver Parker perched up on his knees before Cross was able to get it locked in. Beautifully done. And Xavier Cross was inches away from locking in the Kronwall Hawk Slayer and certainly stealing a match from Oliver Parker. Parker didn't let it happen, and now into the cover off the face buster. Oliver Parker, quick as you like, Oliver Parker gets the win. Wow. Xavier Cross thought he had this match won. He thought the Kronwall Hawk Slayer was in. Look at this. He thought, but Oliver Parker gets up onto the knees, prevents him from getting that monkey grip into the hands, and then look at the face buster from Oliver Parker. Spins him around, and I think Xavier Cross caught his head on the top rope as well. So Oliver Parker escapes with a win, but we were possibly seconds away from seeing this match go the other way. Oliver Parker, though, returns with a victory much like Lee Carr did. No sign of the ultimate Cinderella, so I think Oliver Parker may escape tonight relatively unscathed. Folks, join us again on Friday for Friday Night Storm. Northern Lights is 3 weeks away. You will not, I repeat, not want to miss a second of General Admission Wrestling. Head on over to the website, generaladmissionwrestling.com. If you want to read a full recap of every show as they happen, if you missed anything. But we will see you on Friday for Friday Night Storm. We appreciate you all. Thank you.